I'm Loretta Hayes from Hayes Sewing Machine Company, and welcome back to our creative videos. Today we thought we would show you just a simple video on a double welting foot. And so this foot is often called either a double welting foot, a double piping foot, and it's traditionally used for doing upholstery. It creates a two piping trim that you could put around. If you had, say, stapled on fabric, it would cover the staple on upholstery. However, I have a totally different twist on this. I like to use it for doing embellishments on my projects. So this is the trim. This is the double welting trim, and I created the trim and then stitched it on, actually quilting through the table runner. It is a fabulous way of creating kind of a thin, flexible embellishment. So it could be used as an embellishment alone, just like I did here. But it could also be like if you're a quilter and you want to do, say, like a vine. So that could be your vine, because it's so much easier to do than, say, taking a 3/4 inch strip of bias and pressing under a quarter and under a quarter and then trying to bend it. That doesn't always fall under the quilting is fun category. And so this double welting foot will give you kind of a little bit more three-dimensionality to it. And it makes it so much easier. It's much more consistent than me pressing a strip. So what you need to know is, depending on where you're going to use it, is going to be what you're going to use for your cord. So I'm going to demo using a traditional cord like you would use for a upholstery. So this is a 5/32 piping cord, and you'll need 2 strips of whatever length you're going to do. However, when I do it for my quilts, I don't use that. What I do is I look for kind of a fluffy yarn. See if we can find the end.
Welcome to yarn.
And so this is just a chenille yarn. I had this in a stash. It's not like I knit. I use it for, I did a baby quilt once and I actually couched this cord on it. But it's about the right size. So you can see it's pretty much the same size as the piping cord is, but it's soft and flexible. And so it makes our trim much more malleable. We're able to maneuver it much easier. So the technique is done the same way. What we need to know is that a double piping foot has 2 channels. I don't know if Pam can get close enough to see that. So you'll see there's a piping cord here. Do you need me to move it?
Nope. Got it.
Okay. So there's one here on the left, and there's one here on the right.
Can you kind of move it
Tilt
side
to side?
Here you go. And so we can see it flat out.
Go like that?
Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more. There you go, just so they can see the grooves.
Okay. All right. And so what you will see is on the top, there's a little section to snap this on. And then there is a little opening where our needle is going to go. What's super cool about this is you do not need to have a fancy machine to use this. We need to be able to do a straight stitch and possibly to move your needle position if the needle doesn't line up in the center. So this is a generic double piping foot. And so the reason why I like it so much is it's got very small channels to it. Now I'm going to put it on a Bernina, and so this obviously is not a Bernina foot. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a number 78 shank that is a Bernina connection point, and I'm just going to snap the 2 of them together to create the foot that I'm going to use on here. Just so that you know, Bernina does actually make double welting foot, double piping feet in different sizes. All right. So what you're going to start out with, if you want your strip to bend, is you need a bias strip. So I cut my strip on the bias, and we're going to cut it way bigger than you would if you were doing regular piping. Regular piping, I might do like a 2-inch strip. I've almost doubled that. I'm at like 3.5 to 4. A lot of that's going to get trimmed off, but it's helpful to have more fabric when you're trimming so that you're not having to work with these tiny little pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cord or our yarn, whichever we're doing, and we're going to fold that into the middle of our strip. So we're just going to fold it in half, and we're going to push that cord up into the fold. That's really my only responsibility, is to have that cord snugged up into the fold. We're then going to place it underneath the foot, and we're going to put the foot down, and what we're going to find is the needle's going to be right in the center, and it's going to stitch right along the cord. So up to this point, this is very much like doing regular piping. It's nothing exotic about it. So we'll get started with it, and we'll just run down. And really, like, I take my fingernails and just kind of keep that cord snugged up into the fold. If you get a little bit of wrinkling to it, don't worry about it. It's nothing to have to pull out. Bias is wonderful. You can press this cord, it'll take the wrinkles right out. All right, so we come to the end, and obviously if we're doing a trim, you're going to need, in the case of a table runner, I measured the length of the table runner, and I added about another half that length. So I had about 1.5 yards of cord. I don't want to end up 2 inches short on there. And the cord, the curving actually takes up quite amount, a good amount of our cord. All right, so now you've got your first cord in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lay our second cord right next door to it. So it's right on top, and then we're simply going to take it and we're going to flip it over to cover that cord. So the original cord that we stitched, the one on the edge, is now on the right.
Could you show that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So you've got the piping as we've made it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to lay your cord or your yarn, doesn't make any difference which. Okay, you're going to lay that down, and then you're simply going to take and fold the piping over and cover that cord. So we're just going to roll it over.
Okay.
And we've got that there. So now we're going to tuck it under the foot. And this is the reason why you can't make double piping with a regular piping foot, because now I need both channels, otherwise it will fight me. And so you just get it lined up. Okey-doke. And ta-da, we have our double piping. So
Nice.
now, I mean, if you wanted to put this in an edge, like as in like a pillow piping and do a double piping, you could certainly do that. I think I would make sure that I was doing, maybe a round pillow, something that it's not going to bend really neatly because of the two cords on a corner. But usually double piping is used as a trim, as a surface embellishment. So what we now need to do is we now need to get rid of our extra fabric. And this is the reason why I did a bigger strip, because it's just so much easier to grab a hold of like 1 inch of fabric than it is if you've only got like 1/4 inch coming in. And usually I'm doing a fairly long length of this, so we want it to be as easy as possible. And voila, we have our trim.
That's pretty cool.
Now, you'll see that this one does flex,
But not as much.
nearly as much as the one that has the yarn in it. So depending on what you're doing, you're going to go ahead and pick your cord style. Pam, could you just hand me that pink fabric? She says, no, I'm holding the camera. All right, so if you are stitching your trim on, I use the same foot. Okay, and I like when I'm doing my stitching on, I like to have like batting underneath of it already.
Mm-hmm.
So I had on this table runner, I had pieced the table runner, I had layered it up, I had quilted all of the yellow section, and then I drew a line for my curve so that I knew where I was going to follow. And all I did was I just grabbed a quilting ruler and just used the quilting ruler as my guide. But honestly, you could draw your own curve. You could even do a Google search and go curve line and click on images, and you'll have 3 billion curved lines. Print off what you want and use that. So you don't have to be artistic to do this. Now, once you have it done, then all that's going to happen is the trim. So if you can see, there's the raw edge.
Hold on just 1 second. Yep. That goes
Okay,
down.
there's the raw edge. So that's going to be facing down. And so we're going to place it on our project, and we're just going to go ahead and we're stitching it on. So really, the same way we had the trim under the foot when we were doing that second step is how we're stitching it on. And so literally, you can bend it, maneuver it. It's just super easy to do. And so you end up with your 3D trim that is really custom because you can pick any fabric that you would like. So I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into double welting. It's a different take. You'll see lots and lots of videos online with upholstery kind of techniques, but if you simply change it up, pop in a yarn instead, you then have a much more flexible trim, and you can use it to embellish your quilts and your table runners and your bags and whatever your imagination can come up with. See you next time.